this is an average. You know, I would say for between meals, you know, depending on the person's body weight, it could be 1 or 2 scoops between meals. You know, female probably closer to 1 scoop, you know, and a larger male might be 2 scoops, or a really large male, if I've got like an NFL guy or, you know, guy who's 300 plus pounds, he'll use more, of course. And then same thing with pre and post workout, it is based on body weight. I try and keep it simple. Usually equal number of scoops pre and post is what I've seen work best. But probably the average adult female, 2 scoops of each before and after. If you're getting some larger males, could be 3 or 4. I could have them some during training as well to sip on also.
Then throughout the day, because you have one at the beginning of the day, then you have one for a snack, and then you have
pre and post, and then some other snack, yeah. So it could be a lot during a day. One, helps you with hydration. It's not free. People call me all the time and says, well, I don't want to spend that much money. Says, you know, but you want to lose, you know, 30 pounds in 30 days? You know, I mean, so the amount of resources people dedicate, of course, is up to them, but I think you've got to be realistic in terms of if you're going to spend money on food, you're going to spend money on training, you need some tools in terms of supplements, but if you're not going to dedicate the resources, it's just not going to happen. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And then, you know, post-workout, you know, I can use some carbohydrate from, depending on the person's size, from rice, potatoes, or oatmeal. I like those better than fruits. They have a lower sugar content. I think they work better. It could be something you would rotate as well. And so that does a good job with macronutrient cycling to elevate insulin at the right time, but not too much. I think that's a big misconception out there. I don't care who it is. Drinking a tremendous amount of maltodextrin or these other fake sugars or whatever post-training is going to make you fat. It's just, you screw up the insulin sensitivity, you're overwhelming the system. You really got to look at, one, you don't need to replace that much glycogen because you don't use that much during the training session. An endurance athlete could differ a little bit. So you got to look at what needs to be replaced, what do the muscles need, what you need to optimize the anabolic environment. But I would say using a lot of these fake sugars in high amounts, not a good idea if you're wanting to stay lean. And I think you're better off gaining muscle with things like raw honey, things like that, that can be mixed with the MR and the muscle synthesis, actually very good for gaining lean body mass as well as some glycogen replenishment too. In that post-workout meal, again, I use protein sources that tend to be leaner because I want a faster rate of digestion. I might use a higher fat protein source like steak or something like that earlier in the day. Just makes more sense at that time. You know, salad, vegetables, always good. And with the alpha omega, I found that when you're using it post-workout with those carbohydrate amounts, because it optimizes insulin sensitivity, it does a very good job of directing more raw materials into the muscles instead of fat cells. One of the things I'm looking at with any client, when are your energy levels high and low? That can have a lot to do with how do you adjust the diet. Control the food environment. This is a good example. I've been working with a very highly stressed family attorney for a while. So what he does is pits people up against each other to see who gets the kids for what amount of money. He doesn't like his job very much, but he's good at it. And he wakes up in the middle of the night and eats. So his wife called me and says, well, what do we got to do to get this under control? I said, get rid of all the junk food in the house. Because he says it's subconscious. I wake up, I eat ice cream and all this stuff. Well, she got it all out of the house, and you know, he had a lot of greens and whatever, and she was telling him, John, you're not waking up eating broccoli. What's going on? I got all there for you. So it wasn't so subconscious. But point is, control the food environment. And this can be very hard for people. Well, my wife likes to eat that. She has it around. Well, either you've got to keep it out of your sight, or you've got to get her, you know, to be on the same page with you, or she'll constantly contaminate your environment and make it hard. So if your spouse can be on the same page with you, girlfriend, whomever, it makes life a lot easier. When are the bad food choices made? This is a big one. And it usually has a lot to do with people being very hungry for an extended period because they missed a meal or they were stuck out somewhere, you know, things like that. So plan for those situations. Eat a snack. Eat some nuts. Have them with you. Don't make an excuse, well, I was starving. The only thing I could do is go through the drive-thru. No, that's the choice you made because you didn't prepare. So have something around that you can eat in an emergency, and it'll hold you over till you can get to something good. Who's cooking? If it's your wife cooking in most situations, you know, you've got to get this person on board with what you're trying to do, or you'll go downhill real fast. We like a consistent training time, has a big impact on getting all the meals in and doing things right there. And people to get some AM in the morning general activity raises energy levels. I think it's a good thing. Just gets them going. Maybe it's good for reducing stress and so forth. If you're sitting at a desk like I do for ungodly amounts of time every day, getting up and walking around has a good effect on the rest of the day to get people going, and I think it helps them make better nutrition choices. And again, audit nutrition for accuracy. Make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. This is a conversation I have very often. I'm willing to forego all these bad food choices for a while, but I can't do it forever. I'm going to have a reunion, or my mother-in-law is going to come over. And this is how I explain it. Earning a low body fat level takes a lot of effort, and if it were easy, everyone would do it. I got to get a lot of people to accept that. I mean, look at the population around. We're getting fatter, we're not getting leaner. And the other people who are really lean is a very small percentage. So the faster you get to your goals, the better before distractions take hold. The faster the progress moves, the better the rate of compliance. Has a lot to do with the program design. So it's much easier to maintain a lean physique than it is to get there, allowing for more diet freedom in the future if you were sensible. So once you get to whatever the desired body fat level is, let's say 11%, 12%, to maintain that is a heck of a lot easier than it was to get there, so that people can have those foods they want periodically, as long as they're being smart about it, and still be able to maintain that progress. But you'd be shocked. Very few people get there. They don't get to the goals because they don't give it enough time, so they never get to that cycle where it's okay to eat some more things or eat more, because they don't give tough things enough time to work. So my point is, period of diet intensity, all or nothing. If you really want to get after a goal, then do it. Not having Oreo cookies, things like that, will not kill you. Trust me, they didn't have them for thousands of years. And if you're really not willing to do the work, then there is no nutrition plan on this earth. And I see this all the time. I get calls from smart people. What do you think of if 5 days a week I eat real low carb and this, and then 2 days a week I carb load with ice cream and chips and all these things, and it's going to make my muscles big and have this? It doesn't work. It does not work. There is no human on earth that can eat whatever they want for 2 days and lose fat. You'll gain fat. So the point is, you've got to forego some of these things. You'll get faster results, get the goals done with, and then move on to other things. And go to the next slide. Explain to people, and this is something people got to put in their minds, their problems, whether they have increased body fat or not enough muscle, wasn't created overnight, not gonna be corrected overnight. And it takes time to build metabolic and hormonal momentum. You have faster progress during month 2 and in 3, I should have put, than month 1, as a lot of these things optimize. And use other things other than the scale to measure your progress, body compositions every 6 to 8 weeks and so forth. And don't obsess over the scale. It's an important one for women especially. Supplement tools. I've done a lot of work with clients and figure out a lot of things. Clients who feel good, in general, they make much better food choices and exercise at a much higher rate of intensity. What makes them feel good? Find out, make them do it, because that's going to lead to a much better level of success. Primary, secondary benefits of supplements. So, for example, primary benefit of the alpha omega, to me, is it helps burn fat. But it also kills craving levels and helps clients avoid bad food choices while having a better mood. So that's a secondary benefit, but it's important, because if they can't control that, they're going nowhere. And 100% MR muscle synthesis also reduces cravings while increasing energy, and this is especially important for somebody who's stressed. So if they're drink that between meals, it makes them feel better. Instead of going and eat donuts in the office, they drink that, they're satisfied, they can move on to do what they need to do. Fat-reduced AM improves mental focus, also helps tremendously with fat burning, and then the PM improves the sleep, which I think a lot of people underestimate, as sleep is very important. This is something I found, and this is somewhat theory, but accelerating fat burning and recovery by signaling the brain a huge amount of food has been consumed, and as a result, fat burning increases, but there's nothing to burn except stored fat, since the MR and MS have no caloric burden. I'm convinced that's the case. I've seen it too many times to think otherwise. Helps me improve hydration by drinking a lot of water, improves mood, prevents snacking, accelerates rates of recovery.